literally 2 weeks later, I quit my software company job. I decided to take a leap of faith and step away from a six-figure salary to, I wasn't really sure. Like at that time, I had barely started a blog that I was kind of working on. I didn't really have very good rhythm with it, but I was like, if I don't have work to do, maybe I could like get some rhythm going with that. I knew I wanted to travel. I knew I wanted to have adventures. My basic plan was to do whatever came up, to say yes to life, to say yes to the path unfolding in front of me. And even the story of how I quit is very interesting, I think, in terms of, again, it's an initiation into adulthood. It's an initiation into who are you in this world? Like, who do you want to be? And if you look at the story, like as I'm telling it, like basically that's the question that is being asked of me over and over and over again. And even making the decision to leave my software company job, it was like that thought came to me in meditation, like in my morning time. For like a month, I was having that thought. And the whole time I was talking myself out of it. I was saying like, no, I'm gonna wait until January 1st because we're already in December and 20% of my salary is my bonus. So six-figure income and 20% is the bonus. So I'm like this close to having this much more money in my savings account. No, I'm gonna stay. And that became a really interesting spiritual evolution experience because that's not who I wanted to be. At the end of all of it, I got wind that like in my department, I was one of like maybe 8 supervisors. And I heard through the grapevine that I was not the only one leaving. And basically that like half of the supervisors in this department are all planning a January 1st exit. And that like basically all of us were thinking the same thing, like get your bonus and then you're done, moving on. And as I sat with that, it's also relevant to mention that like throughout my time working there, I feel like one boss after the next just like taught me more and more and more about how not to be the boss kind of thing, until my very last boss who I worked for the last 8 months that I was there. Her name was Adrienne, and she inspired me. She was a force to be reckoned with, a force of nature, just so talented. And I genuinely enjoyed working for her. And so that experience at the end was really interesting because by that time I had lost the malice that I had like towards the company itself. Like it's their company, they get to do whatever they want with it, and I don't agree, so I'm gonna leave. That's not a mad thing. I get to go where I most align with myself. And so I'm making that choice. And so as I hear that like half of her supervisors are gonna quit, I just start feeling so guilty that like I'm gonna screw her over for this money. Like that's what I'm doing because it's gonna make life that much harder on her. And like it really got me thinking again of like in 20 years, like this was how I finally decided to do what I did, which was quit before I got my bonus. But I looked at it and I'm like, in 20 years, how are you gonna feel about doing this to someone that you genuinely respect and admire? You're gonna like, you know, pull the rug out from under her like all of these other people. Because at that point, like the rotations and like reassignments within the company all happen on the quarter. And by January 1, those decisions are made. So you're forcing them to go back and like rewrite. Otherwise you're leaving like half of the staff unsupervised. Like she don't have time for that. So yeah, I just like felt really guilty that like we were all gonna gang up on her. And I decided that like I would rather sleep well at night and like quit without that money and live with myself as far as like, I want to feel good about how I chose to handle this. And it doesn't feel good to like wait until I get this money just, and then, you know, gang up on her and quit like everybody else. So I decided to go ahead on December 7th and quit when the bonuses don't come out till like right at Christmas. And as a thank you for me deciding to do that, they gave me my bonus anyway. They really appreciated the integrity that I showed and that the respect that I gave them and the heads up. And they said, you've more than earned this. It's yours. Of course we would give it to you. And I was like, no fucking way. That's amazing. So like, not only as a company, they don't do 2 weeks. So like when you quit, you maybe get a day, if that, and then you're done. So like, I knew I wasn't gonna have to work 2 weeks, but I essentially got an extra 2 weeks of not having to work there, and I went ahead and got my bonus. So that was like so cool. And I got to live with myself. And it was like, again, I'm reminded of consequences. You know, like I chose who I wanted to be. Like at the end of all of it, 20 years from now, you know, $20,000-$30,000, like it's gonna feel like peanuts compared to if I have regret about screwing over someone that I genuinely respect and have like a good relationship with. I would rather honor that relationship and do what I feel is right. And then the consequence of it was that they appreciated that and chose to give me my bonus anyway. So that just, I think that's probably one of the better examples of like consequences. You know, like none of the things that happen during our Saturn return are set in stone. And if anything, they're choice points. It's just like a series of forks in the road asking you, who do you want to be in this world? How do you want to show up? How do you want to be remembered? I want to be remembered for my integrity. I want to be remembered for doing what's right, even when there's a pile of money staring me in the face. And I think the world needs that, you know? And like, I can't make anybody else do it, so I guess I'm gonna show up and do that job myself.